Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are fine, and I hope the assignment given by me was completed by you all in a notebook, previous year's notebook. This I will check when we get back to school. I'm going to start with a new chapter, that is biological classification. Classification, is required so that it is easy to study the organisms on the basis of their similarities or dissimilarities. This classification chapter you have studied in class 9th also, but in very short. Here we are going to study in detail. The first one to do the earliest classification was Aristotle, and he used simple morphological characteristics like differentiate between plants and animals, then again plants into trees, shrubs, herbs. So in particular, and like animals, those who have red blood cells and those who do not have red blood cells, in this way Aristotle started this. But the basis of classification came with two kingdom classification, which was given by Linnaeus, that was broadly divided the entire group into two, plant and animal. The plant kingdom included all plants, and animal included all the animals. But this system did not distinguish between the eukaryotes, prokaryotes, unicellular, multicellular. Nothing of that sort was there. Neither there was a difference between photosynthetic green algae and non-photosynthetic fungi organism. Only the differentiation was one, which is able, like classification of organism into plants and animals was easily done and was easy to understand, but a large number of organisms did not fall into either of the category, like the fungi did not fall in this category. Hence, the two kingdom classification used for a long time was inadequate. It was not giving us the correct results. Then came the three kingdom classification, in which was done by classification was done by Haeckel, who divided along with plant and animal another group, that is Protista, which included your the prokaryotes, the primitive organism which did not have any nuclear membrane. But then again there was a problem, because there were certain eukaryotes which were not following in any of the categories, whether plant, animal or protist. Then came the four kingdom classification, which was given by Copeland, which included Monera, Protista, Plantae and Animalia. Finally, the classification which we are using now was proposed by R.H. Whitaker, which is known as five kingdom classification, and it was divided into Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Fungi was given an entire group, an entire different classification, because fungi is a very big group, and it is not possible to put it under any of the categories. Now, the main criteria for classification used by him included cell structure, organization, the mode of organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and the relationship between one another, the phylogenetic, the ancestral history between them. Like Monera were prokaryote, Protista eukaryote, fungi eukaryote, Plantae eukaryotic, Animalia again eukaryotic. Again, if we go for the cell wall, the Monera cell wall was non-cellulosic. In case of Protista, the cell wall was present. In fungi, the cell wall is present, but it is without cellulose. Plantae present with cellulose, and in Animalia, there was no cell wall present. Similarly, if we go for nuclear membrane, Monera did not have any nuclear membrane, but rest all the kingdom were having nuclear membrane. Then If we go for the body organization, type of body organization, then for Monera and Protista, it is cellular type of organization, whereas for fungi, it is multicellular, loose tissue kind of organization, and for Plantae and Animalia, it is a complex kind of, where cell is grouped together to form tissue, which are grouped together to form organ into organ system. A very complex kind of condition is there in Plantae and Animalia. If we go for the mode of nutrition, then Monera and Protista are autotrophic, but there is a difference. Monera is chemosynthetic, that is, they are deriving the energy with the help of chemical synthesis, whereas Protista is photosynthetic, deriving the energy with the help of light photosynthesis. Whereas fungi is heterotrophic, that is, they are either parasitic or they are deriving their nutrition from dead organism, that is saprophytic, and plant are autotrophic. Animalia is heterotrophic. Now, when the 5 kingdom classification came into being, let's discuss about each kingdom separately. Now, kingdom Monera, the first one is kingdom Monera. It is a maximum of them are bacteria. It's solely a bacterial group. Bacteria is a microorganism found everywhere, and they can be found in variety of habitats, hot spring, desert, anywhere you can find them. So the bacteria are grouped according to their shape, on the basis of the shape, like your coccus. You have studied coccus means spherical in shape, or spiral, spiralium, vibrio, comma shaped, and bacillus, that is rod shaped. So we have studied, so it can be classified as according to the shape, circular, spiral, comma, or your bacillus shape, right? Though the bacterial structure is very simple, they are very complex in behavior. So they show a variety of metabolic activities. Some are autotrophic, that is, they can produce their own food by photosynthetic method, or they could be chemosynthetic. Vast majority of bacteria are heterotrophs, that is, they do not synthesize their food. But basically, they are saprophytes. They get their energy from organic matter or from dead organic matter. Now, this bacteria can be classified into 2, that is, arc bacteria or archaeological bacteria and eubacteria. Arch bacteria, or as I told you, the word arc stands from archaeological, that means they are old. They are primitive kind of bacteria, and they can be found in very harsh habitat, salty area, high heat. So they are generally found in very harsh habitat. Our bacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, which is responsible that they can survive in a very extreme condition. They are also found in ruminating animals like cow, buffalo. So they are able to responsible for the production of methane gas from the dung of these animals, because they help in digestion of the cellulose. Then there are thousands of variety of eubacteria. Eu word come from new, that is eubacteria. Eubacteria or true bacteria. They have a rigid cell wall. They are motile. They can have flagellum. In this, we can call the cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae, which we have studied about, or the photosynthetic autotrophs comes under this eubacteria. They are unicellular. They could be living alone, or they could live in colony. So they are colonial. They can live in colonies also, and they can be found anywhere. As I told you, that they can be found anywhere in water, in air, anywhere. Some of them are able to, we have studied about them, rhizobium bacteria, which is present in the root nodule, is able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. So they are there, and they have they can fix this nitrogen in a specialized cells called as heterocyst. What are this called? The specialized cells through which they are able to fix nitrogen is called as heterocyst. And this comes as nostoc. Then comes chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria, which oxidizes various inorganic substances such as nitrate, nitrite, ammonia, and use the released energy for their ATP production. They basically help in recycling of the material, right? Recycling of the nutrients, because they are feeding on dead bodies. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature, and they are important decomposers. Many have significant impact on human affairs like cuddling of the milk, production of antibiotics, fixing of nitrogen in the leguminous roots plants. All these comes under eubacteria, because they are the recently found bacteria compared to the ARC bacteria. We have studied that bacteria reproduces mainly by binary fission, and sometimes during unfavorable condition. So the mode of reproduction is asexual, that is binary fission, and during your unfavorable condition, they form cyst around themselves. They produce a spore or form cyst and undergo multiple fission, right? There is another group of organisms which are called as mycoplasm. That completely lack a cell wall, and they can survive without oxygen. We have studied PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organisms, right? They are the organism mycoplasm. They did not have cell wall, and they survive without oxygen. They are pathogenic in animals and plant. Right, so this is the first step, that is Monera. What have we studied? We have studied Monera basically is bacteria. This bacteria can be classified in two parts according to the shape. We have classified it as Coccus, Pyrelium, Vibrio, Bacillus, or it can be classified according where they are found, how they are found. ARC bacteria, which are found in the harsh habitat, they are primitive bacteria, or the eubacteria, which are recently found, they are colonial, and they help human beings in variety of way, in cuddling, in leguminous plants. And we have also studied that they could be autotrophic, they could be chemosynthetic, or they could be heterotrophic. Right, they reproduce with the help of binary fission. This was the first one, that is your Monera kingdom. The next class we are going to discuss about the Protista kingdom. In Protista, there are many groups like dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime mold, protozoans, and fungi. We will discuss about Protista and your fungi kingdom, which is a very vast kingdom in itself. In fungi also, we have groups like Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, and your Basidiomycetes, Deuteromycetes. All these comes under fungi, which we will discuss in the next turn. Please go through this part, this kingdom classification given by Whitaker. Before that, we were using a 2 kingdom classification, 3 kingdom, 4 kingdom, and finally the 5 kingdom classification, which we are following right now. Go through it. If you have a doubt, if you find any problem, you please put on your queries in the website. Have a good day.